Hey, hello everyone, this is Mr. Rob Ronan here again, and today we're going to go over a guide for Sin, talking about how he does all these Kara super cancels that we see a lot in high-level Sin gameplay. It's a real keystone piece of his gameplay, and it's kind of important you learn how to do it, and unless you've played characters like Potemkin or Gold Lewis, who have Karas as a really important part of their gameplay, you likely aren't used to doing these sorts of inputs. So in this video we're going to go over all of Sin's Kara super options and how to do the input for them, and there's a few options for each. So at its core, a Kara cancel is cancelling the startup of a move into another move, and Sin is able to do this after all of his special moves by either cancelling the dash or the follow-up into his overdrives. So in order to accomplish a Kara, you have to do the input for a super really quickly after you press the button for a follow-up or a dash. So theoretically this is possible, you can quickly go down P after pressing the dash button or the follow-up button, but in practice that's basically impossible and you have to use a few tricks to get around it. So assuming you have your dash macro mapped, the most common option is to do the input for the super, so down forward, and then press the dash button and then P, almost at the same time but right after each other, so dash P. And after you do an input it'll look like this, and obviously when you're not doing it after a super, after a special, it doesn't seem like anything, but you saw I pressed the dash button right before the P button and the super still came out. And the same thing will happen after my special moves because of the dash Kara cancels, or the gazelle step Kara cancels. So as you saw there, I pressed dash right before I pressed P, even though I did the down for motion before I pressed the dash button. Now there is actually another way that you can input Tyrant Rave a little more easily if you don't have your dash macro mapped, or you find it a little bit difficult to time pressing the dash button just the once. Another option you have after any of your special moves is to just mash down for P like an absolute madman, and you will actually get the super, because if you press down forward fast enough, it'll read forward and give you a dash in, and I'll show you what that looks like. As you can see there, I was just mashing down for P, not with any timing at all, I was just mashing all the buttons, and it just came out, because it read my down forward so quickly as a dash in, and then it also read them as the down forward for the super. So that's a little bit of a sneaky way you can get the Tyrant Rave if you're not able to time the dash macro Kara timing. And this applies for all of your special moves, whether or not you do the follow-up or not. So that's a bit of a sneaky way you can get Tyrant Rave. However, going back to the regular way of inputting it with the dash macro into the button super, there can be problems and it can be tricky, especially in certain combos if you're not actually timing it correctly. So see it in a simple combo like this, where I'm trying to do the Kara cancel using my dash macro off of this little combo off of my Elk Hunt. And it's just not really working, and it's because I'm doing the input for the super, the half circle, too early. I have to do it after the Elk Hunt has actually hit the opponent, but it's because I'm in a combo where I can kind of think that I can time things a little bit quicker and I'm kind of more expectant for it, whereas if I was doing it in the neutral, I would do it a lot more late and I would do it after the special move has hit. So you have to make sure you do the same thing in a combo or else it won't actually work. So as you can see here, if I do it in a combo and do the input a lot later than I would normally in a combo when I have, comboing input buffer, it actually works. Because Karas, you don't get combo input buffer, you have to do them as late as you can. And as you saw in this example, an easy way you can actually do that is just by delaying the last input of the super. So you do have to do a half circle and then forwards for the Ride the Lightning super. So if you do the half circle kind of early like you expected and then kind of delay the forwards, you'll still actually get the super, as you saw in that example. I just waited until the special move was over and then did forward dash, heavy punch, heavy slash, and it works. and you get your lovely Ride the Lightning, and the same will apply in the combo. As you see there, I delayed the forward input in a way that kind of feels a bit awkward. Oh, messed up the Ride the Lightning. It feels pretty awkward, but if it works, and you have to make sure you get used to the timing. And as you can see, getting these confirms leads to really good damage, really good consistent hard knockdowns and positive bonus, and that is just a super big strength of Sin's. So if you're not using it, you're not abusing the character in the way you could be. So just to wrap up the key points that we covered in this video, in order to Kara with Sin, so step 1, hit a special move and optionally its follow-up, and while the special move is coming out, start the input for your super and finish the input of the super when the special move is finished. And right before you press the button for the super, whether it's punch or heavy slash, press the dash button right beforehand, and that's what will give you your Kara. If you don't follow any of these steps, you're simply not going to get your Kara and drop your combo and miss out on a lot of damage and meter. So you have to make sure you do the input for the super right after the special move, or else it won't happen. You have to make sure you press the dash button right before you press the button for the super, and all of these things coming together will let you go for some really, really cool Sin gameplay moments where you can get crazy confirms off of any special moves. Crazy damage. And even wall breaks from anywhere on the screen. And also, if you find this a little bit difficult, you always have the option of just mashing down forward, down forward, down forward, down forward, down forward, and P at the same time, and you'll probably get a Kara that way as well, into Kara Tyrant Rave. It has less timing finesse, but also has a slightly bigger chance of screwing up. So, that is a Kara guide for Sin. I hope it helps you people that aren't used to going for Kara inputs, because it is something that I found a little tricky beforehand. I hadn't really played any characters that use Kara inputs for parts of their game plan, so it was a little bit annoying to learn, but once you learn, it's super powerful and super fun. So I hope the same applies to you. Thank you so much for watching this guide. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.